Marconi, the great scientist. One of the most remarkable things invented in human history is wireless telegraphy, by means of which messages can be sent to all parts of the world without the aid of wires. The man whom we must thank for this was Guglielmo Marconi. He was born in Italy in 1874 to an Italian father and Irish mother. Even as a child, Marconi loved making a special kind of ink from the juices of wild berries that grew near his home. In the early years of Marconi's life, when he was just a schoolboy, an important discovery was made. The discovery revealed that the space in the universe is filled with a light substance called ether. This is made up of tiny particles that can make their way through all matter. That is to say, liquid, solid, and gas. When the rays of the sun pass through this ether, waves are created. These waves travel very fast in every direction, lighting up everything on which they fall. Ether is not the same as air. If the air vibrates, we hear sound, whilst the motion of waves in ether produces light. Different colors, such as red, blue, and violet, are produced when the ether waves vibrate at different speeds. A German scientist called Hertz discovered that electricity would produce waves in ether in the form of circles, just like the circles made when a stone strikes the surface of a peaceful lake. He also invented an instrument which could catch electric waves, just as our ears catch sound waves and our eyes, the light waves. The news of this discovery caused Marconi to think, and after much careful work, he invented wireless telegraphy. His aim was to invent something which would cause the waves of ether to vibrate, and which could be controlled in such a way that long waves or short waves could be sent out just as one wished. He also wished to invent an instrument which would receive these waves. Hertzian waves, so called after Hertz, a German scientist, travel as rapidly as light and can go round the Earth 8 times in a second. Marconi performed many experiments, and in time, he was able to send out and receive signals in the Morse code, without wires for a short distance. Later, he found a way of sending messages over long distances. In spite of this success, he was not satisfied, for there was still a difficulty to overcome. This was to prevent the messages from being caught by the wrong person. This difficulty was finally resolved by tuning. By this, we mean that the transmitting instrument is adjusted to send out a specific number of beats per second, and only a receiving instrument tuned in the same way can capture the message. After a time, Marconi built a station at Cornwall in the southwest of England from which he could send messages across the sea to Newfoundland. Having finished all his work in Cornwall, he sailed from England to Newfoundland with 2 of his assistants, and on his arrival at St. John's, he fitted up his instruments in an empty room, the harbor. Before him on the table was his instrument, from which a wire led to a very large kite that was flying in the wind. Before leaving England, Marconi had told one of his helpers to send a signal to him from Cornwall at certain hours each day. This signal was to be 3 short waves or dots, which, in the Morse code, stand for the letter S. Imagine Marconi with the receiver placed against his ear, anxiously awaiting the signal, for he knew that if the signal reached him, the success of his invention was certain. Suddenly, he handed the receiver to one of his helpers. "See if you can hear anything," he said. The other man seized the receiver and heard 3 distinct clicks. "The signal from Cornwall," he whispered. "Yes, I hear it too," said Marconi. Thus, for the first time, signals had been sent and received across the Atlantic without the aid of wires. Marconi immediately wrote about his experiment to the newspapers, and everyone was astonished. In a short time, the wireless telegraphy was put into use. Today, instead of Marconi's kite, which flew high in the air, we have wireless stations which support a set of wires. On ships, these wires are attached to the masts. Wireless telegraphy has already become part of our everyday life. Sinking ships can send out their call for help to other ships. In 1912, the Titanic, at that time the largest vessel in the world, struck an iceberg on her first voyage from England to America. She was supplied with Marconi's instruments, and when sinking, sent out her call for help. This reached a number of vessels, which arrived in time to save 900 passengers. In the following year, the Volturno was destroyed by fire in mid-Atlantic during a heavy storm. The wireless telegraphic call was first received by the Carmania, which made use of her own instruments to spread the message far and wide. 10 steamships hurried to the burning vessel and were able to save all the people on board. Every morning, A newspaper is published on board some of the large liners, with the news having been supplied by wireless. In this age of mobile phones and advanced technology, many people still have a radio in their homes. With these radios, they can listen to music, news, or speeches broadcast from different places. To hear these broadcasts, you must tune your radio to the correct frequency or station.